For more on foreign fighters joining ISIL, we're joined by Tony Shaffer. He's a senior fellow at the Center for Advanced Defense Studies. Well, you just saw these reports.
Right.
We keep hearing about these foreign fighters. How many of them are there out there, do you think, joining ISIL?
Tens of hundreds, if not thousands. One of the sad facts right now, Mike, is that the recruitment in England is higher for ISIS and ISIL than it is for the British military. That's the way it is. And I've been in contact with my British Muslim friends, and they are appalled by this. And one of the reasons it's like this globally is because they have put together a slick Madison Avenue quality campaign to recruit people. I mean, there's videos out there talking about how you can pray 5 times a year, get plenty of sandwiches, and go kill people. So it's very attractive to a certain segment of the population. It doesn't necessarily have to be anybody who, other than with an interest of going to fight to do something like this.
Talk to me more about this social media strategy,
Sure.
because what we see in terms of videos are these gruesome beheadings,
Right.
and most of us can't sit through this stuff, and we wonder what would be in the psychology of somebody who would want to go off and fight.
There's a lot of those who are drawn to this brand of Muslim faith for 2 reasons. They feel victimized. This gives them an outlet. This is the psychology of terror. This gives them an outlet to strike back at the society that has essentially made them to a victim. And so that's the appeal that ISIS is being able to apply very effectively. It's not your fault that you've fallen. Come join us. You'll be part of something greater, and you'll be working the work of God, jihad. So this is where a lot of folks who feel detached from society are drawn to this. And it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It really is more about how detached you feel from the larger society which you're a member of.
Rich or poor, and yet we see this 19-year-old. I've got a son who's in his early 20s, and I'm telling you, he and his friends, they have to cobble together enough money to go away for a weekend.
Right.
And here's a guy going to get on a plane and either go to Syria or Iraq, which can't be easy to do and has to be expensive. How are they doing this?
Well, they are exactly that. They're doing everything they can within their power to get there. And the other thing is that there is actually reception stations for these guys once they get there. I mean, based on what I've been told, this guy actually knew where he's going to go. He's going to be met by somebody, and basically there's a trail to get into these locations. And the back door has actually been through Turkey, which has been one of the issues we've been dealing with lately.
Female fighters, how many of them are there?
Not nearly as many. As a matter of fact, there's one that recently defected who couldn't take the very thing you just brought up, beheadings. This is a very gruesome sect of the faith. And so when you see this sort of thing, a lot of the women are disdained by it. Plus, the women are treated as chattel. So I'm not sure if you're going to see a lot more women come into this sort of organization because, especially in the more religiously extreme, the more conservative religions such as this, they are not treated as an equal in any way.
And you would wonder why any would be interested.
Well, because some actually are drawn to this position of where everything is laid out for you. One of the things I've in dealing with Afghan women, Muslim women, they feel very protected by this. They feel like, you know, once you are a member of the faith, you are protected. You are shielded from everything else. In the case of ISIS, I'm not quite sure if that's true. So I'm sure the women may not get what they think they're signing up for once they get there.
The FBI director was on one of the national programs here in the United States this weekend, kind of talking about this issue. And it was interesting. He was talking about lone wolves, or actually the lone rats, this sort of thing. But today the FBI came out with a video and online posting, help us find these people.
Right.
You would think the FBI would probably have a good handle on all of this sort of thing. I mean, is it that tough? And what are we to deduce from that?
There's 2 aspects of this they're trying to detect, and it's very difficult. First is the lone wolf jihad, it's basically self-recruiting. A lot of the videos out there of Anwar al-Awlaki, who was assassinated a few years ago, is still out there, and they're very effective. They do draw people to the faith, and obviously the new campaign of ISIS, this very Madison Avenue thing, that's one thing. Second thing is jihadists who are trained, who may be already out there fighting. Comey mentioned, FBI Director Comey said that there's folks they know are out there. These guys may be sneaking back in to plan and conduct attacks. So you've got both those who are out wanting to come back, those who are self-radicalizing, and you got to look at both. And because of the very thing that was just discussed in the opening, people can live in your neighborhood and you would never notice a thing until perhaps something goes wrong.
Well, that's clearly what we heard in that story from Chicago.
That's right.
Tony Shaffer, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.